Very good morning and welcome to Spotman's Best and Saman Shubarije. Yes, it's a Friday. It is the 9th of June, of course, being a public holiday. That is the Heroes Day in Uganda. Well, I'm with Masika Timmy this morning to drive your business, and definitely we shall be having quite lots of prospects, to discuss about, of course, regarding what's really happening around the world. Very good morning, Masi. How are you this morning?
A very good morning to you, Andrew,
Yeah.
Uganda, East Africa, and the entire globe. Of course, today is the 9th of June, 2023, and in Uganda, this is when we get to celebrate our heroes. And of course, we have to remember that, different countries have different Heroes Day.
Of course.
So for Uganda, today is the 9th of June, and of course, we get to do something. It's a public holiday, as you well all know, and of course, in Uganda, we celebrate our heroes, those that, they call it the NRM Day, when they get to remember some of their friends, and of course, award medals for the heroes in Uganda. For the heroes in Uganda. And of course, I can see a report from the Minister for Presidency, that is Miss Millie Baranda, who is informing us about the celebrations of the 34th Heroes Day, which is today, which will be at Kasara Catholic Parish grounds in Mututumula sub-county in Ruwero district. And of course, according to Babaranda, this year's commemoration will be marked under the theme, Arise Uganda, Our Heroes' Sacrifices are Now Bearing Fruit, and the function will be graced by the President of the Republic of Uganda, though we do not know if he'll be there or he'll have a representative, given the reports that we have had from him. But of course, this day, as I've told you, it's for the heroes in Uganda, those that participated, those days, the veterans, the hard-working people that have been recognized, the survivors. So this is the day where you see, was it Kolaija?
Who?
Kolaija, the one that reads results, names, and they put medals. Last time it was
the spokesperson of the UPDF.
Yeah, last time it was actually the late who used to, be vocal on days like that.
Okay.
It was just a beautiful thing right there.
All right, and of course, Heroes Day is quite a wide perspective in which we can actually look at it, of course, away from just the political aspect, but we have those people that have been heroes in terms of creating solutions that have transformed the world in quite various aspects, and in Uganda, I mean, talking about innovation and so many aspects related to that. I don't know who your hero is in terms of any sector that you feel like you take, that you give ultimate attention to. That is always the best aspect for you when you realize that, and how those heroes inspire you in the matters that you execute. Well, away from that now, let's take a look at what's really happening that is into the press. Well, of course, taking a look at the Daily Monitor, I don't have hard copy with me this morning, but I'm going to be having a soft copy just right here. Of course, we take a look at that, some aspect regarding appraisal, that is of government projects, which has improved drastically. And of course, the finance minister in charge of general duties, that is Henry Musasizi, said only 10% of government projects had an appraisal process, and that would evaluate, assess, and review the impact of a project on user communities. And now, of course, speaking at the launch of the integrated bank of projects, a single window of all stakeholders involved in the public investment management system, Mr. Mzasi's the system, which is expected to accelerate project appraisals, of course, comes at a time when evaluation, assessment, and review of projects has been low, which has been at just 10%. Now, the system, he said, has already registered successes, that is with project uploads increasing, of course, to 37% since it was rolled out, that is to 10%. But the bigger picture here is the aspect of reviewing the impact of a project on user communities. I guess sometimes when people implement aspects, they don't really go as much as far as trying to examine the extent at which they impact communities, and maybe probably that is something they don't pay into much consideration.
Of course, yeah. I told you, like, we have that issue when it comes to implementation and of course executing.
Yeah,
it stops there. You don't
it
go
stops
back.
there.
It's like having a customer, and of course, let's say you got business from a customer. That means you have to check in on them and ask them, keep in touch with them in case they want to purchase another product the next time. How did they receive the product you gave them?
Their feedback.
Feedback. It's really important to keep track of the people you give services to.
Okay. Okay. What do we have there next? From the new vision.
Uganda Coffee Development Authority grilled over unaccounted 2.2 billion fertilizer funds. And of course, these funds actually went missing, according to the reports. Now, according to the report on the Treasury Memorandum of Parliament by the Finance Minister last week, UCD contracted 2 suppliers for procurement of organic fertilizers at 14.8 billion to facilitate full accountability. The Uganda Coffee Development Authority reportedly issued guidelines to be followed during the distribution of fertilizers. Some of the guidelines were that all cooperatives and farmers organizations had been duly selected to submit a list of beneficiaries and of course to the headquarters, but they have not really given accountability on those people, beneficiaries. Like, we've been having this discussion about cost beneficiaries. People are getting money, costs, yet the real people are not getting facilitated. Now, in another story, traders protest over electricity disconnection. Now, this is actually quite interesting. They have threatened to strike if the one-day ultimatum issued by the landlord to connect them expires. But this today, actually.
Over electricity disconnection in some market in town.
Yeah.
All right. Now, of course, in here, in the Daily Monitor, we take a look at income under loans cannot be taxed. That's according to the court, which did the ruling regarding to this. Now, of course, the commercial division of the High Court has ruled that money repaid for loan facility cannot be subjected to withholding tax, since it is a refund of cash advanced to customers. Now, of course, the ruling by the justice, that is Thomas Okaya, also indicated that such money cannot be treated as an income to a financial institution, but a mere refund in fulfillment of a loan contract between financial institution that is on the borrower. Now, the loan agreement court held is classified as a financial instrument or a non-financial asset, depending if that is on the nature of the mortgage. Of course, more of these rulings and adjustments regarding to income under loans cannot be taxed. So if I make income, if I'm earning income and I'm earning this money from money, the money from which I'm earning it from was borrowed money. It shouldn't be taxed. So that is a filing that came out right there.
Well, this is quite absurd. Over 10 million in Uganda, and children actually in Uganda are trapped in child labor. And of course, you've seen quite a number of kids, children
child
on
labor.
The streets selling small bits, tomatoes, small things.
Yeah.
And it's it's time for school, and you're seeing the kid is running around with goods.
With goods selling.
Mostly in holidays, I must say, in holidays. The moment the holiday starts, that is when parents, it's like a burden has been shifted. Oh, get this, start off.
Absolutely
you need
true.
to give them time to rest and, of course, focus on their studies. They're in school.
But that such kids, when they grow up, they're a little bit much more better. They don't like their peers. That's hard work.
I know it's hard work, but to what extent? You have to consider some factors. This is a school-going child. You have to give them, at the end of the day, you will have to discipline them for not performing I mean, well in school, it's good. The values are good, but to what extent? They need to grow. They need to do other domestic chores at home.
Sure.
Not necessarily. They don't have to sell tomatoes. If they sell, what will you do?
Well, but I think it's all dependent on the system in which they've grown up in. It matters a lot, and it dictates how far, in most cases, you are likely to go and at what stage. For example, in a more advanced system, of course, it says that by that age, a child should be at school. But if you're in a system that is not structured efficiently well, that is expected for a child at that age to be on the street selling goods. Well, now here we see, according to an annual report, here reveals that 1 million Ugandans suffer, that is from foodborne illness annually. That is something so, well, okay, let's check out the report here. It says that a report by the Ministry of Health has revealed that the country registers about 1.3 million cases of foodborne illness annually, which accounts for 14% of all cases treated. And now the report reveals that aflatoxin contamination is a rapidly growing burden in the Uganda's food system, with up to 65% that is of maize containing aflatoxin levels above Uganda maximum limit. Okay, now of course aflatoxin contamination reduces economic growth by 0.26%. Now, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, Uganda suffers a loss of $77 million on treatment of 3,700 cases of aflatoxin in those cancer cases. So you can really see how health has quite an impact when it comes to economic growth and development. Of course, somebody may say 0.26% is quite a small percentage, but probably you have no idea what that percentage, once it's converted into away from, I mean, if it's pulled away from the negative and it's put back to the positive, you can, well, you just have no idea what that positive increase can impact on a normal household down there. So I think that is something that we need to really take very seriously.
And now still in the New Vision, Iron Sheets protesters case flops. Now the protesters allegedly carried iron sheets in protest against the high-ranking government officials implicated in the Iron Sheet saga. So definitely their case has been, dismissed. The Uganda Road Chief Magistrates Court has adjourned the hearing of the case in which 8 activists accused of holding an unlawful protest and assaulting a police officer, that is July next month, on the 5th of July 2023.
Okay.
This month, that is when we shall have another hearing about this case. I mean, you saw that when protesters were having iron sheets, and of course they were protesting.
Of course.
I don't know. I mean, I believe we should let government do its part. You see now they're in court right now. They're in the docket. Imagine that. So you risk your life in things that you are not really supposed to be in.
So be into. Absolutely right. Of course, right now, let's switch our eyes and take a look at what's happening to the world of traffic. Of course, the images you're observing in there are coming in from Kira Road. And what you're seeing there is Tinda Bukoto route. Of course, you can see, being a public holiday, it's a very free lane. So I think this is the best part for some people to actually, the people that don't want to go to the city due to the fears of the long congestions. Well, I mean, the city is congested, it's crowded, and some people feel uncomfortable to do that. Yet they feel like they need to buy something from the city. So I believe this is the right time for you to go there. It's going to be free, and like we always say, on other usual days, the later the day goes in the morning hours, the more congested the place becomes. But for such a day, and it being a Friday, there is no, majority of the people just going to be connecting over to the weekend. So there is not really a chance that people are going to really move out in numbers. Of course they will, those that are going out for plots, but it's something that is going to be at quite a very slow pace. So regardless of what time you leave your place to head to town, of course, in case you have a job, well, it's okay. People that work all time, and of course, in case you have a business to execute, well, it is okay. Anytime you leave, I guarantee that you will be able to reach your workplace, whether you leave home at 10, you leave home at 11. Well, it's a very conducive atmosphere there, and I feel like I don't think there is a traffic officer in control of this, because first of all, a few vehicles, and yeah, so the traffic lights are in full control, but it's free. So for the people that are coming in from those areas, it's a peaceful atmosphere. And of course, I'm seeing border borders dominating the road, mainly, as you can really observe. There are schools not closed today. The schools are closed today, and actually, normally in that junction, there are students that cross. There is a school nearby that place, so it looks very blank, and it's not on particular junctions, but a lot of the junctions. Now that's a look of the road that comes from Kampala. That's the Kira road actually, which connects from Bukoto heading towards town. But you can see it's also free. It's very free. So it's a good time and efficient time for you to go and operate and run what you ought to run efficiently. It's a Heroes Day. It's a public holiday for the country Uganda, and there is lots. There are times when it's a public holiday and people don't really give it much respect. I
mean, it depends on the holiday. Now this is a national holiday, so definitely you as citizens have to do respect the holiday.
No, but I remember that's the time when people were actually moving, and even the city was a little. By the way, you see these areas are blank because there is some aspect of uptown, but if you go to downtown, it's congested as usual. It's business as usual.
Of course, that is when people actually get time to go in there and do shopping for their families or for themselves. I mean, that's the only time you get to shop is when there is space time for you, like this day, a public holiday, for you to go, and that is when people actually get more money down there because people are free. Yeah,
to some extent, actually, they do get money. Though still, it's more okay. Me, I feel like it's the same balance, because somebody who would have there are people who are ever in town Monday to Friday. On such a public holiday, they are going to stay home. So that means they're not going to come to town to buy. And then there are those that are not interested to come to town to buy stuff. Probably that's the time. So I think it comes back to a balance. Majority of the people that go to buy are those that have not been usual buyers.
Yes.
Because they don't like congestion. And yet those are the least.
Oh.
I think so.
I don't think so, because I mean, from Monday to maybe Monday, you're always at work. When do you ever get time to go to? I mean, majority of people are working.
I mean, when you have the business mindset, it doesn't really mind the day.
Oh.
I mean, people work 24/7, and that creates a distinction between the extremely wealthy. Of course, it doesn't mean that when you work all the time, you're gonna get rich. If you work so hard and you don't work smart, well, it might be still in vain. So that's what we're observing there, the Kira Road junction. Of course, next to the police station. It's quite very free. So for the people of Ntinda Bukoto, or any person that is coming from town and your destination is probably you're heading towards Ntinda Bukoto to execute a certain business, I can really assure you that it's a safe zone for you, and it will be whichever you're going to be pursuing this morning will see some degree of success and times over time management. Yes. Well, that is it for the traffic this morning. You can take a look at, the routes are very, very free, it being a public holiday. Well, now let's get into a short break. And when we return, of course, we shall be having something from the international community and the East Africa. But don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which always open at 8:15 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. effective Monday up to Friday. But today they won't be opening. Like we always say, on public holidays the markets don't open, but this will start effective Monday. So Monday at 8:15 a.m. till 3:15 p.m. up to Friday, the Zabo markets are open. Now for you to be a part of this, you simply dial *292#, and you'll be available with quite lots of options where you can choose to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000 Ghanaian shillings. Yes, of course, you can trade government bonds even more than 15,000. Regardless, your choice. You know, it matters what you really want to, and life will be made much more easy and much more efficient. I can assure you that. Now, Zabu simply says, "My money, my future," and Old Texas East Africa says, "Do something new." And now let's get into the break. Definitely, when we return, we shall be dwelling into the East African community and the international setting.